Mr. Speaker, today I was not going to speak on third reading today, but I told myself I could not live with myself if I did not speak on Detroit Public Schools. Like many of my colleagues who serve in this chamber, currently I am a proud graduate of Detroit Public Schools. I am the youngest member of the Detroit delegation. I graduated Detroit Public Schools in the year 2002. So when Detroit Public Schools was going through a fiscal crisis, I was still in the school. I often remember at the time who our president was, and I remember we were 2 presidents behind on our textbooks. I remember the challenges that we had, water dripping from the ceiling, same things that you see today on the news. I remember having an overcrowded classroom. I remember not having resources from, like many of my other friends or peers who were in other areas of metropolitan Detroit. And then I remember classmates who wondered why we did not have those same things. I remember yesterday in committee, one of our colleagues mentioned he was very frustrated. So to explain frustration is to be in a city as great as Detroit, have children as great as Detroit, grow up through that public school system, become a lawmaker, and then you find that it's difficult to solve the issues that you've even been through in that school system. We want the best for Detroit Public Schools as well. We want money to repair the district. We want money so our teachers can get paid. This is not different from any other district within our state. What you would want for your teachers, what you would want for your students is the same we want for our students. Which is why over the last year and a half, we've worked, we've talked, we've negotiated, we've had work groups. And yet the package of bills today does not reflect anything that 10 legislators from the city of Detroit have recommended. 10 legislators from the city of Detroit who represent the very parents, teachers, and children that we're passing legislation for. Now, to me, that's kind of unconscionable. I don't understand that. It saddens me, really, it does. And then to even think, you know, we've placed a lot of blame. We blame teachers. On our side, we blame the state for emergency management. But the fact of the matter is that if we pass this package of bills today, which is not a responsible package by any means, and we're here next year, even when some of us are not in this chamber, that is the most irresponsible thing as legislators we can do. This does not address the problem in Detroit Public Schools. It is a temporary fix. It is a pacification of the real issues that we deal with in Detroit Public Schools. And so today, without going into the specifics of who did what in the bad emergency management for 10 years in which the state put in there, I asked my colleagues to really consider, one, if you're a representative from your district and you went through that, how would you feel today, sitting up here all day going through this? 2, if you had to go back home, because many of you won't receive calls on your cell phone from parents, teachers, even students who called my phone every day for the last 5 days. I ask you to consider, really, what are we doing here today? Are we really passing a responsible package that will solve the issues for Detroit Public Schools, fix Detroit Public Schools, and give our students in the city of Detroit the same rights to a first-class education, not a second-class education, that every student in the state of Michigan deserves? So I ask and respectfully ask my colleagues not to support this package of bills. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.